Yo, what's up, man? The Casual Extras podcast in the building. Me, Mike Theory. We got Everest Valens in the building. What's up, baby? What's up? How's it going?
What's going on, Mike? How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm chilling right now. Chilling. Just got back from baseball practice with my son. Now we jumping on the live.
That's good, man. Yeah, I just
Yeah,
hopped out of the shower, so I'm feeling fresh finally, bro.
that's right. That's right. Man, did you were you able to catch like the fights this weekend, or did you watch some highlights and stuff?
Yeah, dude, I ended up tuning in for the main event. The
Okay.
um the ladies had just got the females had just got done sort of going at it, and then yeah, man. But I caught the main event, and it was cool. I liked it.
Yeah. So yeah, we had Oscar Collazo. He defended about 105 pounds versus Jayson Vayson. It was a pretty cool fight. It was actually ramping up, and then they had that stoppage, which is the corner threw in the towel, man. That stoppage, man. I don't know. Vayson's corner, he robbed us. I feel like they kind of robbed us to seeing if he had the dog in him, because he was, yeah. I felt like it was a pretty close fight up until then. I understand protecting your fighter. Sure, I get that. But you also got to protect the legacy too, Like, let that man go out on his shield. Like, he wasn't completely damaged. I felt like you could have he could have went a little longer. I get the whole protecting your fighter. I understand that, but man, I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know, man. I mean, you know, I think maybe a lot of it depends on sort of like where your fighter's at, like sort of in their career. And
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Homie already had taken L's and stuff like that, and Collazo was like, he's pretty much walking him down, bro. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I think like and like I said, because Buddy really isn't in the same position as Collazo. I feel like who knows, man? Maybe they're just like, hey, let's just collect this paycheck. You know, you know, it was getting good, but really it
Yeah.
was it was also as the fight progressed, it was getting a little bit more just little by little one sided and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe they said or who knows. The thing is that these guys work with these guys
Yeah.
work with their guy every day, bro. Maybe they seen something in him that they really didn't like, bro.
No,
You
I
know what I
feel
mean?
that. Yeah. No, I feel
And
that.
yeah, and that's the thing. I guess that the average person watching isn't gonna know. We don't know the cues he's giving off and stuff.
Yeah. There could have been something in his eyes, something in his body language that the trainers see, and they're like, "Oh no, I don't like that. Like, let's save our fight." So that's why I was saying I get the whole protect your fighter aspect, but man, this is a championship fight too. You know what I mean? Like,
That's
so
true. That's
yeah,
true,
like
bro. Like,
the bouts are on the
go
line,
at it.
unified titles. So man, it's just, but yeah, I get it. You want your fighter to go home to their family. Everybody has a family to go home to. You want them to be able to go home and live another day, be able to spend that money that they're making, right? Spend that money that they're making,
Nah, man.
enjoy that money. So I get it. But the fight fan in me is like, damn, like it looked.
I want to see him go at it, bro.
Yeah. So like I have that, like the little angel and the devil on the shoulders, like one's being reasonable, like I understanding, like, hey, the corner knows what he saw. The corner knows their guy the best. They're with him multiple training camps for months at a time. They get it, but also the other, the casual wants to see the blood and the warrior. Yeah, So it's like,
Absolutely.
but hey, Collazo, hey, he's a beast, man. I don't see him staying at 105 for a long time. I don't know. He's not gonna go up too much because he's a small dude, but just to get that bigger paycheck, he's gonna have to go up. Like most of the smaller weight classes, they're not they don't make the money as like the bigger weight classes do. So maybe he goes up to 108. I think he'll be a little more marketable at 108. And he's good, man. He's good. He's another Puerto Rican fighter that's coming from Puerto Rico. That's has an island behind him for sure. He was at the Bad Bunny concert. Like he has an island behind him. So if he goes up in weight class, I think he'll start to see some bigger paychecks, get some more notoriety and stuff like that.
Yeah, dude. I think I mean, obviously those guys have, obviously the PR's got a legacy, bro. And
Yeah,
you know, and and that's what allows you to have a legacy, bro, is when, for the American, for the Mexican, for the Puerto Rican fighters, for the Cuban fighters, it's like, you've got people that have traditionally follow the sport. And so, when you start to stand out and once you've sort of accumulated an impressive enough record, and, you start to put together impressive fights like that, it's only a matter of time before you people take notice. And
yeah,
yeah, man, it's crazy, bro. Like those, the fact that it's like these dudes are weighing in at those weights and stuff. That's a trip, dog.
yeah,
These are small ass dudes, bro. But you know, eh, um, the week prior to that, like during the Canelo fight, like, I had some people over, like, and some of my daughter's friends, are one of them was one of them was talking like, like, hey, I'll whoop Terrence Crawford's ass or whatever, and he's a bigger dude or whatever. He's like,
yeah,
that's why they have weight classes, and I'm thinking in my head like, oh man. That's how you know. He's like, this dude just has no idea,
yeah.
because
Well,
because
there's weight
it
classes
doesn't
for
matter.
there's weight classes for trained fighters. You know
That's
what I mean?
exact,
He
and that
like,
was exactly my thought. Exactly
yeah,
my thought. Well, like,
yeah,
yeah, there's weight classes, but there's world class training basically
yeah.
behind that, basically.
Exactly, because you got like Manny Pacquiao going up 8 divisions, like eight. He's an 8 division champion. He's moved up eight weight classes. This is a small dude, but he's not. He was knocking people out. At 147, he started like at 118 or something, like something crazy small, right? But yeah, there's weight classes for a reason. But when you're skilled and you have the right tools and you have like the God given talents to be able to fight like that, like the Terrence Crawford. Look what he did to Canelo. He neutralized them, right? Like, yeah, and he's moving up 3 weight classes, but he has God given talents. He has the 4 inch reach advantage. He was a taller fighter going into that fight. So yeah, he was coming up classes, but he wasn't the smaller fighter actually in that fight. He was actually the bigger fighter.
Well,
So
Crawford has something that I don't think maybe not everyone's even gonna see sort of like what it is about that guy. In my mind, bro, like the thing that said everything about him in that particular fight was, I think somebody asked him, whatever, are you gonna have the power to sort of make a difference,
mm,
and he said a very poignant thing that let me know like his sort of mental attitude, and I was like, okay, this dude's not messing around. Was, he said, I have the power to make anyone respect me, basically. Like, that's, even to me, that was like beyond boxing. That isn't
yeah,
like, of course he's saying, you know I can generate power in these hands, and it's not to be played with. But he's also saying something bigger than that. Basically, is,
yeah.
I have the power to make anyone respect me. That's he's saying something else right there, and it's just that's a mentality that you have to have. I think not only as a fighter. I think if you have that in life in general across the board, like,
Yeah.
you're doing the right thing, basically.
Yeah, because you have to have that man, especially as a fighter, having that mindset. Because if you don't have that mindset, you already lost the fight. Like you're not gonna go in there like, oh no, it's Canelo. Like, like you.
It's over.
That's what most of these other fighters do when they're fighting Canelo. Like, oh, he's Canelo. I'm going in there for the money. I'm getting a good paycheck. I'm gonna go. They already lost the fight. Like your mind's not in it no more. And that's like the biggest thing in the fight. And that's what we saw with Canelo in that fight, right? He started getting frustrated. He started putting his hands down. He started shaking his head, kind of walking away. There was the round where he like put his hands down and kind of walked away a little bit, like, oh, he's not in the fight no more. He's mentally gone. He's mentally gone from the fight.
Let me
Like,
regroup and stuff. Yeah, let me
yeah,
regroup.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like
You don't see him do that.
nah, you don't see that from for sure. You don't see that,
You don't
man.
see it. No.
The Fundoras, right? We have the Gabriela Fundora. She's the youngest undisputed champion in boxing. not no, we're not saying female, we're not saying male. She's the youngest undisputed champion in boxing. But there's nobody younger, and man, she's undefeated again. She won the undisputed flyweight crown. I don't know, Gabriela Fundora. I don't think she's not just a champ. I think she's like the boxing's next superstar. She just got that aura. You put her on a main card, not just the undercard. Like she's gonna go in there. She's gonna sell the fight, and it also helps having her brother there. You know, like the Tower Inferno. Like those two together. Like it's just. It's intriguing, right? It's something
It is.
intriguing in boxing,
It
like
is.
seeing these young kids that are like tall, skinny, got the reach, but they have power as well. Like you saw what Sebastian Fundora did to Tim Zhu, completely demolished him. Um,
That was
Fundora,
impressive.
yeah, Gabriela Fundora, she was controlling that whole fight. The stoppage, um, I don't know, it was maybe a little bit premature, but you can kind of see where the fight was going from there. You got the refs in there to protect the fighter, so the refs like he's the one that's up close. He's the one that's hearing the punches right then and there. So
Yeah,
so you
they're
protect
right
his
there, man.
fighters. Yeah,
They're
I
right
get
there.
it. Yeah, I get it. But man, she's something, and she's young, man. So she's something that we got to look out. Uh, I'm gonna butcher the name, but the person she fought is Kubecki. Kubecki. She showed heart though. She showed heart, but Fundora boxed like she already has her Hall of Fame plaque, man. Like she's boxing in there, she's controlling it, using her reach, using her length, just
All the
controlling the
confidence.
whole,
All the
yeah,
confidence.
all the confidence, controlling the whole fight, dude. Like so, I just see a lot of, I don't know, I just see a lot of good things coming her way.
I was tripping out when when I first sort of saw the whole, brother sister connection or whatever.
Yeah,
I thought that was quite interesting.
yeah,
Um, something like that can only happen in this age. I feel like,
yeah,
in the past. I guess it would kind of remind me maybe old school of like the Ruelas. That's how Rafa was. He was
yeah,
tall, long, lanky. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
then you kind of trip out seeing someone with that build generating sort of the kind of power that they were able to generate and stuff like that. So it kind of reminds me of that, but yeah, when I first saw that, I was just like you said, I was intrigued. I was
yeah,
just kind of like, oh man, and I think that if the promoters are smart, they'll be able to do some stuff with that, especially the fact that they're so obviously talented and skilled and stuff like that. Yeah, that's like that's like a promoter's promotion packaging dream right there, basically.
yeah, for sure. And it's just for me, it's I know it's kind of always been like this. Like the lighter weights, they have more, like there's more skills. Like you're gonna see the more skills in the lighter weight classes. You're gonna see the angles a lot faster, more nonstop action because they're lighter. That's where right now for me, that's where like a lot of the best fights are happening. You got like the Bams out there, the lighter weight classes, Inoue's, the Januko Nakatanis, like those lower weight classes, Collazo we just saw. Do you think the lighter weight title fights are getting enough spotlight? Like why or why not? What are you thinking?
Oh man, I think it's like going back to what you said. I think traditionally it just those are harder those are harder fights to market or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
uh, the thing is that the average sort of viewer, the they might not be sort of as interested, and I think that you have to kind of capture the general public if you want to have that sort of crossover fight and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And beachy casuals, they're not going to care as much about the skill or whatever. They're going to care more about sort of like a big name behind the fight, and it just that gets generated a lot easier, sort of the higher you move up the weight classes and stuff like that. I
They want to
feel
see the
like
knockouts.
yeah, man, it's unfortunate
Yeah.
for these guys because you know even, well, obviously. anyways, a fucking specimen. And
Yeah.
for some of these guys are they're the exception or whatever. But that's another thing too. People want to see people get knocked out, stuff like that. Unless you're something special on sort of at the lower weight classes, it's hard to do that. Basically, it's hard to do that in
Yeah.
general. But
For sure.
a lot more so, sort of in those lower weight classes, because guys are faster. That
Yeah.
means that their reaction time is going to be that much faster, etc. So it's unfortunate, but like I said, there's also always the exceptions, and I think what's meant to be is going to be. If you're a star and you keep putting up the W's, eventually, like we saw, with Collazo, you're going to
Yeah.
get your shine. It's all good, basically. You're going to get your shine.
For sure. Now we have Sebastian Fundora versus Keith Thurman. That's scheduled for October 25th. That's going to be for the WBC junior middleweight title defense. Like, a lot of people are saying, all right, Thurman's washed, right? But if he clips Fundora next month, all of a sudden he's back in the pound for pound list, pound for pound talks. And that's boxing, right? We've seen Thurman in his last fight. He knocked out a young guy, maybe not on Fundora's level, but we also seen Fundora get knocked out. And so Thurman, he still has that power. So if he goes in there and he clips Fundora and he takes him out, now Fundora's back on the list. But he is getting up there. What are your thoughts on that fight? How do you see that going?
Oh man, I think it in a lot of the fights, it ends up being sort of like, and I don't think this will be any different. Basically, it ends up being sort of who can implement their game plan. Going back to sort of like what we just saw with like Canelo and Crawford is that fight was so hard to call. It ended up being you know I guess what you would expect, but it's only what you expect if it's Crawford implementing his game plan. If it would have gone the other direction, I think we would have
Yeah,
seen a different kind of fight. So, I don't think this will end up being any different. It obviously, when you're playing against, when you're fighting against not only your opponent but Father Time, it always makes it harder. Like in Thurman's case or whatever.
yeah,
But you know. Power's the last thing to go. So,
yeah,
dude, you get clipped, bro, and
yeah,
it's gonna be a long night if you're Fedora, bro. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's
And
just gonna
yeah,
be a matter of who can implement their game plan. That's what it's gonna boil down to.
if you've been knocked out once, you can be knocked out again. So
That's it, dude.
it's always gonna be there. But that reach is crazy. Getting past that reach, and for somebody like Fundora with that long reach, he's pretty good at fighting in the pocket, like up close, which is crazy. Like for someone, it looks weird when you see him throw those uppercuts up close. His elbows by his knee, and he's like throwing the uppercut. It's crazy,
That's true.
but he fights really good in that pocket, like in that close range for being such a tall guy. So it's gonna be, to me, it's gonna be an interesting fight. I so I have Fundora taking that fight just because of how he
I
how he
think so
looked
too.
how he looked good in against Tim Zoo on that rematch, coming in and putting that exclamation point like, hey, there's no doubts that I'm the champion.
Yeah, that was impressive, bro.
Yeah, man.
Basically,
But it's boxing.
anything
Thurman
can
got
happen.
that. Anything can happen. There's that puncher chance. Thurman is a veteran. He's been in there with the best.
He's a dog, bro. He's a
He's a
dog, bro.
dog. He has that experience. He has the power. So it's gonna be a good fight.
I think
And
so.
then
I think Fedora will take it too. I think he's
yeah,
got the slight edge basically, and it's just a matter
yeah,
of. But you just never know, man. You have a bad night out there, and
yeah.
you're having to work your way back up the ladder. Again, bro. It gets real out there.
No, for sure. And then we got exhibition fights like Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. That they might be clown shows, like, to people, like they might take it as clown shows. But guess what? They bring in eyes, and some of those eyes stick around and for the real fights. So,
Yeah, that's
man,
true. You know,
So it
it's
is what it
bringing in
is.
that general audience. It's bringing in that bigger audience. I mean, no one, dude. Okay, I'll let you know how I feel about Jake Paul. I bet against him every single fight, which means, which means
Yeah,
I've lost every
yeah,
single time except for once. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like that's how I feel about it. Only because, you know,
But
I've been a fan of boxing my entire life.
yeah,
So to some extent, and I think a lot of it's sort of like the you know, the hardcore fans feel the same way. You know, to some extent it's just kind of like we see what's going on, right? It's like
yeah,
cherry picking your fights, and I mean, honestly, you can argue, you can argue that's not too different from what Canelo has been doing, from what Mayweather did for a long time.
yeah.
You know, you can really make an argument for that, but obviously with Paul, it's different. You know, coming from his background or whatever, but ultimately, like you said, it brings eyes to the sport, and that gives these people the opportunity to maybe fall in love with it, bro, and allow it
Yeah.
to get back to its heyday.
For sure, and especially for the women, like what he's done for like the women boxing is it's, I mean, it's dope. So you give him the respect in that aspect, you know, of what he's
Hmm.
doing for the women. Like he signed a bunch of women fighters. I think he has more women fighters than maybe he has male fighters
That's because he's a
under.
marketing genius. That's because he's a
Yeah,
marketing genius, bro.
yeah, and then you're getting good fights. I mean, the whole Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor trilogies, like those
Those
fights,
were sick, bro.
those are wars. Like those are good fights. So I get it. It's just that you want to like for me I want to like back him up because of what he's doing for like the women's sports and stuff like that. And but then when you make these claims like I want to be a champion. You're not gonna be a champion by fighting Tank on an exhibition fight. Like you're not like that doesn't benefit nobody. That doesn't, it benefits your pockets, and I get it. Make your money. You want to make your money, um, but as for a legacy, for like trying to build something, it doesn't help either fighter for me. Like it doesn't help either fighter. Tank's a champion right now. His last fight was a draw. Um, you got fights out there for him. He can be fighting Shakur Stevenson. He could be the rematch with Lamont Roach. Like there's actual fights that are gonna help the legacy for your career. But man, I don't know. It's just, and then after fighting the Chavez fight, Jake Paul was ranked, right? And then now you're fighting this fight, so it's just they ranked him at 14 or something for the WBC, and then you're going to do an exhibition fight. Like I get it. It's getting people talking. It's getting the buzz. If you put on real fight, most likely he's gonna have some real fighters, some prospects as the undercard, which is gonna give them shine. So it's like a love hate type of thing right there. We're like, damn, like he's putting on these young kids, he's putting on for these women, but then like you talk so much, and then you're not doing really what you're not doing fights that are gonna get you to where you want to be. You know, so
100%. I mean, I think in his heart of hearts, he understands. You know, I think in his heart of hearts, he understands what it takes to actually sort of, not to say that he hasn't been committed, because I think I've seen progression, and you know, he obviously takes the fight serious. You know, the fight serious, because although you know, he has been in there with whatever fighters that aren't specializing in boxing, or fighters that are far beyond their prime or whatever. Just like we talked about, you know, with Thurman. Obviously, this is like a more extreme example, but you know, power's the last thing to go. So if you're in that ring, then you're liable to you know, get caught with a hot one, basically. And
yep,
so there's obviously some skill, there's obviously some dedication there, and there's obviously been some progress. But I think in his heart of hearts, he understands what it takes, you know, to actually be that. And you know, I don't think that's what he's aiming for. I think what he's aiming for, and is exactly what he's doing. He's a
yeah,
smart dude. He's a smart dude, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's
yeah.
carrying out, you know, his
No.
plan to a T.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's doing what he's doing to build his stable, to bring attention to his promotion side, to make his money, so he's able to get these fighters that he's signing, and then eventually he just makes his money. Now he's gonna have his own stable to compete with the Golden Boys, to compete with the top rank, to keep PBC, to compete with the Riyadh season in Turkey and what they're doing. Like it's just another organization. That's what he's building, and that's what he's going to be looking to do. And I you can kind of see like the bigger plan where he's just using himself to build everything around him, which is cool.
Yeah, what I like about it, what I like about it too is that he obviously has to have some sort of love for the sport to to
Yeah,
to be putting all this effort into it and stuff like that. And so, man, I mean, just imagine coming from his background, more likely than not, at some point, obviously, sort of gaining an appreciation for the sport, and then being
yeah,
able to have an impact. Like I just feel like no one ever sort of anticipated that that something like that would happen. That shit it's been like an odyssey watching that sort of unfold. It's been crazy, but
yeah.
the end of the day, for anyone that loves the sport, just like we're talking about, it is a love hate, but ultimately, probably more positive has come from it than the negative. So
No, I feel you. So for for me right now though, there's there's oh, man, I lost my train of thought, dude.
let me say this too. Let me say
Yeah, go
this
ahead.
too.
Go ahead.
So
I
with
lost my train.
for Tank,
Yeah.
because because he's an actual fighter.
Mm-hmm.
He's a serious fighter. Tank is the real deal, right? On the other side of the coin, it does make you wonder, what the hell is Tank thinking? Because just like you said, there's fights out there for him, and it's bewildering, bro. It's kind of sad. Like
Yeah.
from the perspective of the sport, it's sad. Going back to Canelo, you could talk all the shit that you want on the guy, and he's got a few L's on his resume, and you can very easily argue that the most important fights that he's had were L's and stuff like that. Although he's obviously had plenty of important fights, but the one thing you can't say is that he hasn't fucking fought everyone that they put in front of him, because he has. He's fought
Yeah.
everyone that they put in front of him, and he's been competitive in every single one of those. You know what I mean? He really never got blown out the water. Maybe Floyd was sort of like his toughest match stylistically. It wasn't a good fight for him. Floyd caught him before his prime. I To
Yeah.
be fair, I think Crawford caught him after his prime. I mean, those are arguments that you can make as far as those fights are concerned. But the
Yeah.
one thing about him is, bro, he's taking all comers. It's like,
No.
and for Tank's probably got his biggest fights still out there. He
Yes.
he, he never fucking Hey, Haney's there, dog. Like Haney's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you fought Ryan, but that's a cash grab. It could very
Yeah.
easily be argued that that's a cash grab. Like
Well,
you mentioned,
Haney. What?
Stevenson is there.
Yeah. Stevenson's there. Teofimo's still there. Haney. I don't
Teofimo's
think.
right there.
Yeah, I don't think Haney's there anymore. Haney's fighting at 147 now, so I think that's gonna be too big for Tank. 147 going up 147. I don't think he'll get.
That's a bit outside of his reach,
Yeah,
huh?
he's a shorter fighter, so I don't think he would go up that much, and I don't think
Because Tank's at,
Haney's coming
Tank's
back
at what?
down.
Is Tank at 135,
135.
right?
Yeah,
Right.
135.
Yeah, but see, like
But yeah,
the amount of the amount of promotion that something like that would generate. Like, if you're hungry, you're gonna make
hmm
that happen. Terrence Crawford's ass moved up, Big
yeah,
Cheese, 3 weight classes, 4 weight classes, and
yeah,
and if anyone's power is gonna translate, bro, you know what I mean? It's gonna be
hmm
Tanks. So
yes,
if he moved, if he moved up, and Haney really wanted to, and came down, figured out a catch weight. I mean,
yeah.
that's
Like
a
a
good.
what? You go like a 143 or 144 or something like that.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing about right now. What's going on in boxing is,
Yeah,
hey, bro, Turkey he'll make a fight like that happen. You know what I mean? It's like he'll say, hey, let's run this cash weight if you
yeah,
guys are both about it, and let's do it. They could do it if they wanted to. Is really what I'm trying to say, and it's like,
yeah.
but that's what I don't understand. Why
Do you?
why are these guys not interested in just figuring out who's the best of the best,
Yeah. Well,
it's been, I think, throughout
yeah.
history, basically.
Well, we have Shakur versus Teofimo happening.
That's clean.
Yeah, that's supposedly that's gonna happen. I don't think they officially announced it, but during the Canelo fight that week, they were talking. They were doing interviews with each other. They were talking, and Shakur is gonna be coming up to 140 to fight Teofimo for his belt. So that's gonna be. We'll see. That fight's 50-50 for me. It can either be a good fight, a technical fight. It's not. I don't think it's gonna be a fan friendly fight. It depends what type of fight, what type of Shakur we get. Is he gonna? Are we getting the Shakur that's gonna fight like he fought Cepeda, or he's gonna get the Shakur from the past, the stick and move,
Yeah,
that's gonna be moving
just
a
a little
lot.
too careful.
Yeah, exactly. So and then Teofimo kind of struggles with those type of movement fighters as well. He's athletic, he knows how to move, but when we saw him with the Jermaine Ortiz fight, when Teo fought Jermaine Ortiz, if Shakur fights that style of fight, it's gonna be a rough night, like for both fighters, for the fans in general. So
Yeah, he can be on
that
and off
fight,
too. Delfimo
yeah.
can be on and off too.
So it's gonna be a 50-50 fight. Like it's intriguing because of the names. Like they're actually gonna finally fight each other. But it's kind of scary that we don't know. We don't know what kind of fight we're gonna get. It's just
It's interesting though. It's interesting
yeah.
because I think Delfimo has a power advantage. I do. I
Oh
think
yeah,
Delfimo has
that's for sure.
that explosiveness. That explosiveness. I
He
think obviously
does.
I think obviously Shakur showed that he's probably got more pop in his hands, and a lot of people have given him credit for when we've seen him against Cepeda and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Uh,
Hmm.
I never felt that he was threatened. The ropes did hold him up early on in the fight for when Cepeda got
Yeah.
that clean shot in or whatever, but
Yeah.
uh, but he
But
looked sharp and he had some pop
also,
in those
yeah,
hands
also,
basically.
yeah, also with Cepeda, he has a lot of knockouts, right? But he's never been a one knockout fighter. He don't have the power. He's gonna put the pressure on you. He's gonna wear you down, and
It's
then that's how he
volume.
get. Yeah, the volume. That's how he gets the knockouts. But when you're fighting Teofimo has that power to clip you and
Oh,
hurt you.
he's got lightning in
Yeah.
his hands, bro.
The only thing that I say is Teofimo at 140, he hasn't had a knockout at 140.
Uh,
All his knockouts are at 135. So does his parent has his power translated to 140? I don't see it. But it's always he's still there. It's still there. So it's
yeah,
just
it's a threat. It's a threat. You
it's a
don't want to get
threat,
caught slipping.
but
You don't
yeah,
want to get
it's a
caught
threat. Yeah,
slipping by
no,
Delfimo.
no, for sure. Yeah, you don't want to get caught slipping. I just don't know if his power is a big as threat at 140 than it is at 135. That's something that I just like kind of noticed. When he was fighting Barbosa Jr., everybody was saying, "Oh, he can knock him out." I didn't see him knocking Barbosa Jr. out. I saw the fight. I saw he was gonna win the way he won, using his speed,
Right,
using
right.
that his athleticism and stuff like that to win that fight. But if Barbosa was able to turn it into a dog fight, I think that's where Barbosa was going to have that advantage. He just never had.
That's probably that's maybe the best I've ever seen Delfino for that fight. I mean, he was clean, bro.
No, he was clean.
He
I
was
thought
clean.
for me, the best fight I've seen was when he fought Josh Taylor. That Teofimo, the way he fought Josh Taylor, that Teofimo, I felt like nobody's beating that Teofimo Lopez.
That was
The way,
dominance, bro.
yeah,
Oh my
the way he,
god.
the way he fought, the way he beat Josh Taylor, that's the Teofimo that nobody's gonna beat. Like nobody's gonna beat him.
Obviously,
Yeah,
against Lomachenko too. That was impressive. That was incredibly impressive.
yeah,
But yeah, that Taylor fight, I couldn't believe it, dog. I
yeah.
don't think Taylor could believe it, bro.
No,
He was
no,
just, and Taylor's a crafty guy, bro,
yeah,
and he's a skilled guy, bro. He's a winner, man. Oh
yep,
man, that was fucking insane, man. That was absolute dominance.
for sure.
It was, and that's the thing about Delfino. You trip out, because sometimes he's on like that, and you're like, whoa, this guy could
Yeah,
beat anyone.
yep.
And then when
And
he's off,
then
you're like, what's going
yeah,
on, bro?
yeah. I
You
know,
know?
man. It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I'm a fan though. I'm a fan, bro. I like
Yeah,
the field, man.
no,
You
for
know,
sure. Yeah, so I'm saying,
you know,
if when he was fighting Barbosa, I was like, if he was fighting anybody else, I would be going for Teofimo. But I was riding with Barbosa. That's the boy. Like he's been on the pod a gang of times. Like he was just on a winning streak. Like he had just
He
went
got
out
that
to.
dog in him. He got that dog in
Yeah,
him, bro.
and he was just more. He's been more active. He was on a winning streak. It was just like a lot of things. I just felt like, oh, maybe it's his time. Like it's his time. So I was riding with it. But if it was Teofimo was fighting anybody else, I would have been with Teofimo. Like,
Yeah,
but
yeah, that I'm a fan. I'm a fan, and I tune in every time. And yeah, I trip out, sort of like that you get these two versions. I don't really know what it is. I I think that one of the things that I do know, bro, is that in the age of social media, it's hard for these guys because you used to be presented with a fighter once they were, you didn't, the TV time for boxing,
yep,
back then, that's how it was. No one was really put in front of you until they were sort of like a finished product. Nowadays, I
yeah,
think that's what's hard for these guys. And I think some of these fighters struggle with it is the fact that nowadays you get to see someone's entire career, and so, hey, man, like you get to see these guys slip up. You get to see these guys with imperfect technique.
yeah,
You get to see these things, and it's just like, and you didn't used to see that. And so
for sure.
that's what makes it hard for these guys is that you're following them, all the way through their journey. And maybe they're losing confidence because they're on social media, listening to people, this, that, and the third. And that was never sort of ever an issue in the past, basically. So I think
Yeah,
it's an added dimension, and I
for
think
sure.
that it makes it hard for certain fighters, basically.
Yeah, and then a lot of them are trying to build their brand, trying to make their money outside the ring as well, getting sponsors and all that other stuff. And you have to you're using Instagram to get all that stuff, right? And that's another weapon that these younger fighters are. Sometimes they lean more into that, promoting themselves. Now they get big sponsors, making a lot of money outside the ring as well. So that kind of takes away from the training and stuff like that. And then they don't
Yeah, it could be a
they
distraction.
yeah, and then hopefully we're moving towards the not worrying about being the undefeated. Like hopefully we're getting away from that. I see a little bit here and there where people, but you still have that aura of like protecting the O. People are trying to
You
protect that
do.
O.
We're still
Yeah,
there. We're still there.
yeah, we're still there. Hope like we're gradually. I feel like we're gradually moving away from that. I just hopefully we get away from that a lot sooner, and you just want the best fighting the best. Like if you have a loss on your record, that's fine. But if the best are fighting the best, a loss, if somebody's gonna lose. Like somebody's gonna lose. So, but if as long as you're going out there, you're fighting the best. You're putting on a show, and it's a war. We had the Pacquiao and Marquez fights, right? Some Marquez, like they were losing, right? But you still respected both of those fighters. They go out there and they put on a performance, and you go on there, you put on a war, and you go out there and you show your skills. You're like, hey, yeah, he lost, but it's like, nah, but went out there and fought.
Yeah,
You still have
nobody,
that respect.
nobody, had a lack of respect. You
No,
more likely than not, you were on one side or the other,
yeah,
but both sides understood, like, hey, these guys are dogs. They're putting it all on the line, man, and that's what boxing is,
yeah. All the
basically.
greats, all the greats have losses on their record.
All the greats, man. The
All
great,
the
the
greats,
uh, you know, I think Muhammad Ali's, just like he said, is
yeah.
the greatest. And shit, man, he got his
Towards the
ass
end of his
whooped a
career,
few times. He got his ass whooped a
yeah,
few times, bro.
yeah. Of course, like it happens, bro.
Straight
Like it
up.
happens.
It used to be the exception, you know. Now it's the norm, and it
Yeah,
used to be the exception because it is an exceptional thing. If you are fighting, and the reality is that, hey, if Floyd would have kept going, I mean, guess what's gonna happen eventually? If
yeah.
Crawford keeps going, guess what's gonna happen eventually?
Exactly.
It's
Somebody's gonna come up and somebody's gonna be better. Like they're gonna be watching these guys.
That's it.
There's always gonna be somebody better. Because why? Because you have somebody right now. There's that J. Cole's first album, right? He sampled Jay-Z. Jay-Z said he's eating a bowl of cereal. And he's like, hey, there's somebody right now eating a bowl of cereal, thinking and writing, and he's gonna be better than me. and he's gonna be like there's that he sampled like so when you think about it, there's always right now you could be in the gym training hard, right? There's a young kid at home watching their fights, watching Canelo Crawford fight, watching Bam Rodriguez, watching Virgil Ortiz, watching David Benavidez, watching Inoue, studying these guys, training and working, and that kid's gonna come and he's gonna be better. Watching the Floyds, and that's what's gonna happen. Like, and that's just history, bro, and that's just life, and that's just how the world revolves. Someone's always gonna come up, and someone's always gonna be better, and that's what you want. You want to inspire the people that are coming under you, right? And
Yeah, that's
so,
exactly right. I
yeah,
mean, the and Crawford, he put his zero on the line. Canelo,
yeah,
he took what I knew was gonna be an incredibly hard fight. You know what I mean? And honestly, he didn't really have to take that fight. He didn't
yeah,
have to take that fight. He's got any fight that he wants.
yeah,
He could have had, but you got to respect that. And I think it's gonna change with honestly the majority of it with Turkey because he thinks like the ultimate fan of boxing. He
yeah,
he doesn't care. He just wants to see the best fights, basically.
yeah.
So it's gonna change
You
because
you have his card. He like the card November 22nd. That card is crazy, bro. Like it's a stack card. You have David Benavidez. He's fighting against Anthony Yard, and then you have uh Devin Haney versus Brian Norman on there. Then you have Bam Rodriguez. I forgot the name he's fighting, but he's fighting and they're gonna unify the division. So it's a unification match. And then you also have David Morales on that card. You also have Arthur Beterbiev on that card. Like those are all big names. Arthur Beterbiev, David Morale, Bam Rodriguez, Devin Haney,
that's crazy, bro.
David Benavidez. That's a stat card. I wish that card was in America, but it's gonna be in Riyadh. Like if that card, like I would start saving up all my bottles, all my aluminum cans, and I'm gonna go and freaking go take them to the recycler, and I'm gonna make some money, and I'm gonna go buy my tickets. If that fight
Yeah,
was in
go
the
watch that
U.S.,
shit.
yeah, but it's gonna be a Riyadh, so it's gonna be like an early fight over here.
And
But that's a stat card.
there's already been a few cards like that, bro. Oh my
Yeah,
god, bro. You know, um, there's already been a few cards like that, and dude, you know what, bro? We're the luckiest fans around, bro, because I mean, Turkey came out of he just fell from the sky, bro. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like
yep,
the fact that we fight together that he wants. I mean, this is a good time to be a boxing fan, and so this is where all of those things culminate. This is where sort of Jake doing what he's been doing is helping. It is gonna help everything come to a head. This is where Canelo and Crawford sort of, putting together this fight that would have probably never happened in any other era. All these
yep,
things are all of these things are happening, right now, and a big part of it is Turkey's presence, and I think it's only the beginning. So it's
for
going to be a
sure.
good thing. It's going to be a good thing, basically.
Nah, no, it is, man. So shit.
Hey, hey, what was buddy what was homie, bro? That was
Which one?
that was in the on that undercard, bro. Was it Lester Martinez? Was that his
Oh,
last name?
yeah, Lester Martinez versus Christian and Billy. Yeah,
Oh my dog. That fight was hard, bro.
that
That was my
that.
favorite fight that was my
Oh
favorite
yeah.
fight that night, bro.
Oh, for sure. That fight won fight of the night. So they both,
Martinez, bro. I
and then
mean,
they the
and
WBC they so that they initiated a rematch. So that they have to do there's a rematch coming for that fight.
I mean, I had already heard of him, Billy. I knew he was a monster. Like, I mean, you just see the guy, and he's a physical specimen, bro. So I knew homie was a menace, dude. You know, and I just had a feeling that you know, Lester was gonna be the same thing. And oh my God, bro, did they deliver? That was
Oh yeah,
unbelievable. The contrasting styles, the
bro.
uh, the power
Hey,
that both of those guys have. Oh my god,
I
I couldn't believe it, bro. That was amazing.
oh
I
for
love
sure. I
that
had
fight.
no for sure. I had last week I had said like just talking about that fight. I just said they remind me of two people like two people in a brand new relationship. They're in a honeymoon stage. They didn't want to leave each other's side. Like they didn't want to leave each other. They were just stuck. They were just stuck to each other. Like it's
Like, hey,
crazy.
like two magnets, bro.
Yeah.
That you can't separate, basically.
It's fucking
Yeah,
Siamese twins. They were Siamese
that was
twins. Like
that was incredible, dude. It was, that's what it's all about, right there. That fight was what it's all about. It
yeah.
encompassed sort of, everything that I love about boxing. So yeah, man,
No,
that was
for sure,
incredible.
man. That fight, man. And I was at the fight, so I was watching it. I was watching it live, and it was just like, man, I was
Oh
like
my
watching it, and it was just like these fools are not. They're not. Nobody wanted to move out of the way. Like they were just let's
you're,
just
you're like,
go.
what am I watching right
Yeah,
now?
let's just go for it, bro. And it was dope, dude.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I can't even imagine seeing it live. It's like, oh my
yeah,
god. My daughter was actually watching it with me.
that's dope.
Everyone was like had yet to show up or whatever,
Yeah,
and she was tripping, bro. She couldn't
yeah.
believe. I'm
No,
like, hey, I'm like, these guys are like, it's like they might as well just, they might as well take a bat, like
yeah,
they might as well take a bat and start hitting each other with it. Like that's
yeah.
pretty much what was happening.
And they both had like over 80% knockout rates. So it's like, man,
Oh,
like and nobody was going
massive,
down. Yeah. So it's
massive.
crazy, dude.
So I mean, and that just speaks to, and it's kind of crazy, bro, because I've noticed that the things correlate. Like, you know, I saw that those massive knockout rates. I'm like, oh my god! I'm like, this is gonna be a
Yeah.
slugfest. And but I kind of trip out how they both have iron chins, and it always kind of seems to come one with the other. Like
Yeah.
you see that, like when these dudes have this massive power, bro, you
Yeah.
kind of trip out how they also have like a crazy ability to take a shot, basically.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah. The
yeah, that's
triple
kind of
G's.
crazy.
The triple G's, the
Yup,
Canalos,
yup.
like all these guys, like they have crazy chins and they got power though. Like,
Yeah, big power, and then
mm,
and they can just walk through your power
yeah.
too. It's a trip.
Man, do you have anything to leave the people with?
Oh man, no man, I just want to say thank you, man. Thanks for inviting me on here. It was fun, chopping it up with you, and
Yeah.
shit, man. I always enjoy talking to you, Mike.
Yeah, for sure.
You're a
Now
good
we'll
dude,
appreciate it.
and
Now
yeah,
we'll have
yeah,
you on again. I'll get you on again. Fool. We'll chop it up some more times. But I just want to say to everybody out there, we're gonna wrap it up. This week's breakdown. We saw Collazo prove he's levels above the rest of that 105. Fundora continue her rise as a legit superstar, and some undercard names that might not be just tomorrow's headliners. But the beautiful thing about boxing, it never sleeps. Fundora versus Thurman. We got Parker versus Wardley, and yeah, even Tank versus Jake Paul. Virgil Ortiz, we got a Virgil Ortiz fight coming up soon, right? Everything's right around the corner, so buckle up, stay locked in, and remember, boxing is one sport where one punch can flip the whole narrative. So I'll catch you on the next episode. Until then, keep your heads up, protect yourself, and always keep your hands up, baby. Let's go.